With the racing season coming to an end and the new one coming up quick, is it time for you to start planning and preparing for the next season now? In this video, I'm going to share with you my best kept secrets that I use for my Olympic athletes in preparation for the following season. Let's discuss. All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to... Ooh, got some reverb here. All right, guys. Welcome back to another edition of BMX Coach Live. I am your host, Greg Romero. And if you're watching this on the replay, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We're posting videos twice a week now, and we're having a lot of fun over here on YouTube. Today, we're going to discuss some of my best kept secrets that I use for my Olympic athletes in terms of preparing, planning, and strategizing for the following and new race season. Fun stuff. This year's gone by. Well, this year's been really funky, has it not been? If you're watching this years down the road, we're still in 2020 pandemic and wrapping that up. And yeah, things are, it was definitely an interesting year looking back. And, you know, it was definitely a challenging time for not only for the entire world, but as individuals that are trying to navigate the news and what's going on in the world and the uncertainty and the doubts and the fear and wearing masks. And yeah, it's been a real tough go emotionally and mentally. And yeah, so, you know, today, I think we're going to keep on moving forward and we're going to keep preparing as if we're going to race. And regardless of what happens in the 2021 race season, it's best to be prepared for opportunity. And so in this video, we're going to discuss that. Taking a little bit of some housekeeping here. I see a couple guys coming in. Jackson, hey man, how you doing? Welcome. Magic Maple, he always says hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming up, coming on to the show rather, Magic. I love that name. Dylan Magan, BMX, he's coming in. Hagen Racing says, I need help with my gates. Okay, cool. Hey, man, I tell you what, you guys, the Russian Potatoes coming in and saying hello. Guys, I am so grateful for the opportunity to be your coach, and I'm more grateful when you guys come in here and support me and interact with me, because it would be kind of weird if I'm just sitting here looking at the camera and talking to myself. So you guys make it a lot easier for me, and I really, really appreciate that. Please do ask questions, and I will do my best to answer your question after the segment of what we're going to go over in terms of preparation and planning for the upcoming race season. I love the questions. It's one of my favorite parts of this show is extemporaneously giving you content. I mean, I only have 3 bullet points. I'm going to cover 3 things as it pertains to the best kept secrets of preparing you guys for the new race season. But I really do love the live interaction. It's so raw of answering your questions on the Ask Coach G section. So again, I'm so grateful for that. Also, guys, I do notice a few of you guys from time to time do love to donate to the channel. I am grateful for that opportunity for you guys to donate and highlight your questions with that donation. I really appreciate that. It supports me, but more importantly, we're going to take that money and we're going to support. I'm going to match whatever you donate in the super chat, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pick a local BMX community and give the money and donate that money to a worthy cause. So I do appreciate that. If you guys do donate towards the super chat, again, I'm grateful for that. Not only is it for me, but it's for our community, right? Also, one of the things I love about being here on YouTube and doing this show for you guys is that at the end of the day, it gives me an opportunity to do what I love, right? Which is mentor, coach, teach, guide, and share information with you guys. Because at the end of the day, it's my goal for you guys to improve as racers, and that way you guys stick around the sport longer. You know, our average membership here in the United States is around 24 months, and I would imagine now with COVID it's a lot less than that. And so Yeah, so I'm just trying to be one of the guys in the BMX eco racing system to support the ecosystem, right? And give you guys content, give you guys some entertainment, and help you guys become better racers. And that way you guys stick around. And more importantly, you guys have something to look forward to during these times. So, shall we? All right. Love the questions coming in, guys. Keep them coming. I'll do my best to get to those towards the end of the show. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm in San Diego. Let me know where you're coming in from, and make sure you say hello. I appreciate that. So I got one of the questions coming in from. I did a post on YouTube earlier today. Let me see if I can find it, and it was from one of our supporters in our community, Jean-Philippe, and he's from Canada, and he inspired what I was going to talk about in the show, and he asked, what do you suggest your riders to keep in shape during the off season and pandemic, and for Canadians who won't ride a track for the next 6 months? Whoa, 6 months, that's crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that you guys even have an opportunity to ride a track, and obviously I would imagine being in Canada, that winter is upon us, right? Winter is coming, as they say on the Game of Thrones. And so tracks are going to be closed. I'd imagine it's going to be cold. It's going to be icy. There's going to be weather. There's going to be potentially a lot of snow on the ground. And so as far as skills are concerned, it's going to be hard to address that. Thank you so much for asking that question, Jean-Philippe. And I really do appreciate your consistency showing up. And I love the consistency of guys like yourself showing up, because I'm committed. I'm committed to showing up as well. And man, I tell you what, I had an easy day, but it was rough to get motivated. I had a really hard weekend of riding my bike. You know, here in San Diego, the weather was hot, and my friends just wanted to ride bikes, and I was extremely tired today. So thank you again for showing up and asking questions. And you guys, thank you so much for showing up in the chat and asking questions. And again, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be your coach, and I'm committed to you guys. Just want to let you know that. Let's talk about some of the strategies that I use for my Olympic athletes. I would say number one, the most important thing is to find your purpose, right? What are you doing it for? For what purpose are you going to train? Because without purpose, listen, motivation is fleeting. There's only so much motivation that we have. I was reading a book. I forgot what the book is called. I have a bookcase over here. Let me see if I can find it. You know what? I think it's an audio book. Man, I've read so many books. I think I've read 7 books this year. Literally, I got a stack of books right here. Look at that. Stacks of books. And I also do audiobooks, and I listen to a lot of podcasts when I train and ride. What was I talking about? Oh, motivation. So I was reading a book. I forgot the guy's name. I love quoting authors. I definitely want to give them credit and give you guys an opportunity to read the book as well. And if I look at my Audible mail, I'll find it. Anyways, they were talking about motivation, and there's only so much motivation that we have. It's very finite. When we wake up in the morning, we start burning what I recall him referring to as self-regulating units. Now, these self-regulating units could be, water. In terms of, like, I'm trying to give you an analogy. Really, it's like fuel, right? Like when you go to bed, you rest. When you wake up, you eat, and then you're fueled, right? Just like if you were to take your vehicle to a gas station. If you guys are old enough to have a car and you guys drive, you guys show up to the gas station and you fill up your tank, and you know that you have a certain amount of range. I know my car has probably close to 400 miles of range, given a reasonable miles per gallon, right? The way I drive. And so we too have a limited amount of fuel as it pertains to motivation. And so motivation is fleeting. And the reason why I'm saying that is because what's stronger than motivation is ambition. And really, where does your purpose come from? It comes from ambition, right? And where does ambition come from? More importantly, it comes from your goals. What is it that you want to accomplish in the 2021 racing season? Now, when it comes to goals, there's 2 ways I look at goals. We could look at it the simple way, or we could look at it as a little bit more of a complicated way. Which way do you guys want? Either way, I'm going to give you a scenario. Let's just go with regular goals. Now, when I work with my athletes, especially in my winter circle program, um, I always ask them, what are their goals? What are your goals? What are your performance goals? Sometimes people get it. Sometimes people don't. Sometimes people think that like performance goals are all about getting a better gait, being faster, being more in shape, getting stronger in the gym. Now, while those are key performance indicators and those are, what gets measured gets improved, and I think those are important, those are more like objectives. What is your true performance goal? What is it that you guys want in the 2021 racing season? Now, let's just say that the pandemic is just going to slightly go away and there's going to be some racing. Look, this year, lots of sports have been able to pivot and adapt uh, with the pandemic, and obviously USA BMX over here in America has done a really good job with that. I know I have a couple of Winter Circle clients in Great Britain, and they're doing local racing, but they're not doing any national racing. And so if you're watching on the replay or you're from another country, let me know what's going on in your country as it pertains to racing. So that being said, it's tough to have an aim or a goal when you don't know the current situation, right? Like things could change and things can shut down, and the ABA, the USA BMX, sorry, please forgive me, they had some races on the schedule. They had to cancel, and then they were able to reschedule. Like they rescheduled one over here in Bakersfield, and then they had to cancel it. And so it's kind of a bummer for some of us racers that are like looking forward to that race, and then all of a sudden 7 days before they take the rug out from underneath our feet, and it's just like, wow, what's going on? And so I think the thing is with 2021, look, when it comes to setting goals in a pandemic, number one, I think it's best to be prepared for an opportunity, but that's too easy, right? I would say you still need some kind of goal, but the goal is always moving. So what's above that? You need an aim. Oh, there you go, an aim. Now, what's an aim? An aim is your North Star. Where are you going? Where are you going as far as your racing is concerned, right? And more importantly, who are you becoming, right? On your path of BMX racing. So when you create that aim, it's like, listen, it's crazy. I'm crazy, right? Like I have aims in my life, and this sits on my desk here. I'll just give it a quick flash. But basically, there's 8 areas of my life where I have aims, and my aims are both in like work and career, relationship, family and friends, health and fitness, fun and recreation, home environment, money and finance, and of course spiritual, right? So I create aims of who I'm trying to become, and then I create goals in each segment, right? And these aims are my North Star, right? Like, so in health and fitness, for example, I'll share this with you. Strength, flexibility, immunity, right? I want healthy strength. I want to be healthy. I want to be, I want some good strength, some flexibility, and some immunity. Those are lifelong aims. That's what I get when I'm in my 70s, 80s, and 90s. I want strength. I want immunity. I want flexibility. So it's a non-negotiable for me. When I wake up in the morning, I have ambition to watch my diet, to get enough sleep, to make sure I get to bed on time, to watch anything that I may overindulge, right? Whether it's sugar, alcohol, dessert, whatever, right? So where am I going with this? Well, at the end of the day, when it comes to your BMX racing, you want to develop an aim of who are you becoming as a racer, and if you can identify that, right? So maybe perhaps that you want to be someone that's influential. Let me use some of my Olympic athletes, for example. They want to be influential. They want to be a leader. They want to be a motivator. They want to be empowered. They want to be confident. They want to be able to take this stepping stone and then take it into their working career, right? So when you have a lifelong aim in your working career, for example, BMX racing is just a small blip on the radar. Who are you becoming as a BMX racer that's going to help you to become the person that you want to be in your working career? And I know for a lot of you guys, especially if some of you parents that are or helping out, 12 and unders, that's kind of hard. But I think at the end of the day, I think you can create an aim of 2 to 3 years, right? So if they're an intermediate, maybe you want to be a top expert in 2 or 3 years. I know I work with 13-year-olds and they want to become Olympians. And that's awesome. And so we've created goals to where, okay, well, what's the pathway for that? 3 years down the road, from 13 to 16, when you're turning 16, you're going to get on the GB, the Great Britain Development Squad. And hopefully by then, I hand you off and you're under their guidance, their coaching, their mentorship, their program. And so it's important for you guys to identify, who are you becoming as a BMX racer? Is it someone that wants to be totally empowered, powerful, influential, a confident person, right? It's up to you to decide. You guys have to decide that. And then once you decide that, then you could create goals of, what are the dominoes that you're going to knock down in an effort to ensure that you're on the path of heading towards your aim, right? So goals could be like, well, if you're intermediate, I turn expert, right? When I turn expert, I'm going to win expert state champion, or maybe I'm going to be the regional champion, or maybe I'm going to the grands and winning ROC, or maybe I'm going to win a national. And those are key performance indicators, these goals. These goals are not who you are. They're key performance indicators to ensure that you're spiraling up towards your aim. And so these are dominoes that you're going to knock down to ensure that you stay on the path. Okay. I hope that was helpful. And if you find that helpful, well, let's keep going. Number 2. So once you have your aim, you understand who you're becoming, and you have the motivation, more importantly, you have the ambition to get on the path and get to work. If you want to win a race, then what is it that you need in an effort to win the race? Now, this is where we could define our objectives, right? The physical indicators, such as power endurance, increasing my strength out of the gate, increasing my acceleration, right? Increasing my power, right? So I think in terms of the physical component, let's talk physical. I would say that in preparation of the next season, what is it that you feel that you need to accomplish the goals? What were you doing the season before? What wasn't working? What is it that you can improve on in terms of your physical, right? In terms of the engine, and start addressing that now. So that could be, like I said, power endurance, acceleration, acceleration out of the gate, power down the first straight, second straight, all that stuff. So what can you do with that? Well, if you don't have a track, then you could work on power endurance. Say you could do intervals at the gym indoor. If you're looking to increase your acceleration out of the gate, then you could certainly work out in the gym. Now, I know during the pandemic, some of you guys don't have access, but you guys can get creative. My guys have gotten creative. And so this is a great opportunity for you to address the physical capacities, right? And raise your limit. And these are going to give you, it should give you some confidence, right? It should give you some confidence as it pertains to getting ready for the next season, right? And getting to these races and start accomplishing the goals to ensure that you're on the right path, heading towards your aim, spiraling up towards your aim. All right, you guys sticking with me here? And then I would say, we'll do the third one, which is, I did write a bullet point down. I wrote down skills. Now, I know a lot of you guys won't have access to a track. I know a lot of you guys want to improve your jumping, your manualing, right? You guys, this is a great opportunity to work on your gates. Now, if the track's closed, then you can certainly work on bunny hopping. You certainly can work on manualing, right? Find a safe, friendly bicycle area. Make sure you're wearing a helmet. Certainly, if you have the means, you guys can get a practice gate. If you don't have that, then you can work on sprints. Some of you guys are lucky enough to have access to a track that's open year round, and there doesn't need to be a track operator there because you have public access. So certainly you could use that as an opportunity for you guys to work on your skills, and also combined working on your power endurance. So you guys can go out there and work on half laps, full laps, and skills. And that's awesome. I want to throw a bonus one in here. A bonus one would be working on your emotional and mental mindset, right? This is a great opportunity for you to work on that. Okay, working on behavior flexibility, working on your emotional stability, and understanding at the end of the day that working on your mental performance mind state is critical in execution at the races. So how can you work on your mental performance mind state and also your mental performance mindset? Now let's quickly go through the difference of the two, shall we? Cool. How are we doing on time? All right, I'm 20 minutes in. I usually want to do about 25 minutes, and then we'll jump into your guys' favorite part, the Ask Coach G section. It's also my favorite part as well. But I do like this stuff, and I think it's very, very important. Let me take a drink of water. The mindset. Okay, so you have the mindset and the mind state. Let's just jump into the mind state. Mind state is like my current state right now. What are the thoughts going through my head? What am I feeling? That's it. Thoughts and feelings, that's your mind state. So for example, you get on the gate and maybe perhaps you're nervous, and maybe you're nervous because it's something that you saw. It's, oh man, this guy's like really fast and big and he's strong. He might cut me off out of the gate. And so those are thoughts. What are the feelings? Oh man, I'm feeling kind of small, right? Like I'm feeling kind of insecure. I'm uncertain. I'm doubting my ability. Okay, those are feelings. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to reconfigure your mind state of what your plan of attack of what you're going to think about, and also what are you going to feel, right? Kinesthetically, what are you going to feel? And you guys can easily do that through anchoring. Anchoring is the key here. Anchoring is, I do this a lot with my winner circle athletes and my Olympic athletes. It's basically eliciting kinesthetic feelings, right? Especially when they won. That's key. So let me give you an example. 2017 Worlds, I haven't raced in 7 years, and I decided on a whim at the age of 42 that I was going to race the World Championships in the 35 plus class, and I was very uncertain. I wouldn't lie. I mean, I haven't raced in a while. I did the qualifying race in February, then I had 4 months to prepare, and I think a lot of my friends, they had no idea how I was going to do, because it was like, man, Greg hasn't raced in 7 years. You know, what has he got? And so I knew that mental preparation was going to be key. So what I did was I worked on my mind state, right? What was the ideal thoughts and feelings that were going to go through my body every time I get in the gate? And you guys can work on that. And the way I did it was I recall the specific time when I won a race, and more importantly, I was empowered, I was confident, I was strong, right? So I took those three kinesthetic feelings, and I recalled the time of being empowered, confident, and strong, right? And then I simply took those states and I anchored it, right? I anchored it on my wrist, right? And then that way, every time I was in staging, I would just grab my wrist and it would put me in that state, okay? That's a technique that I practice with my guys. As a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, I actually will do that with my athletes, right? And it's a lot of fun, and it simplifies everything. So an anchor is basically is something that you could trigger to put you in a state. So it happens to us all the time. When you hear your favorite song on the radio, right? And if you anchored that with an event where you had a great time, when that song comes on, you know, you're just seeing it, right? Like, you know, I loved rap, you know, I love rap, and, you know, one of my guys was Tupac, and, you know, my ambitions as a rider. And I was really young, but I loved rap. And so when I heard that song, I would play that song a lot when I was training, and it made me feel very powerful, empowered, right? Very confident. And so that's a really good example, right? That's why you see athletes wearing headphones sometimes. They're getting in that state. Sometimes it happens with television, right? What's that? State Farm commercial. I've been watching a lot of football. Da 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 da. Right? Or is that or McDonald's? Right? They're anchoring you with the slogan, "I'm loving it." right? So, but at the end of the day, you guys can do the same thing. You guys can come up with your own custom mental performance mind state. Again, state is what thoughts and feelings are going through you before you get in the gate. And everything's state dependent. Right now, I'm in a state of flow where I'm looking at the camera. I can see the laptop. I see my stream. I'm looking at the YouTube feed, and I see you guys commenting over there. And I'm able to see everything peripherally and still focus on you and access everything unconsciously. I'm in a state of flow, and flow is the best state when it comes to performance. Okay, mindset. Let's talk about the mindset. Mindset is simple. It's just basically values and beliefs, right? Values and beliefs. And so it would be a great opportunity for you guys to rid of any unresourceful beliefs, right? And also at the same time, it's important for you guys to elicit what value beliefs that you have and that will enable you to achieve the goals next year, right? So what I do is I asked them, hey, what are your performance goals? And they're like, you know what, I want to get NAG 1. Okay, what resources do you have? In other words, you know, what is it that you believe that will enable you to get this goal? And they'll just start naming everything down, you know, like, hey, I got, you know, simple stuff. Like I got a bike, I got a track, I got parents, I got a sponsor, I got support, I have a coach. They're doing a brain dump of all the reasons. And man, I tell you what, as human beings, man, we need as many reasons as possible, because all it takes is one belief to wipe them all out, right? One unresourceful negative belief to wipe them all out, right? Because our brain is trained to protect us. So it's always navigating for something that's wrong. And once it figures out something's wrong, it's going to fire up the engines to rid of it. But the problem is it shifts you out of state. That's why it's important to get back into state, right? But this is a great opportunity again to work on, elicit all the reasons, right? All the resourcefulness, all the beliefs that you have that will enable you to achieve the goals that you want. Okay, and then identify what is it that you need, right? Because there's always going to be something that you need. There's always something that we need. And so it's okay for you guys to write that stuff down and then start working on ways for you guys to find those reasons, to find those resources. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to having an empowered mindset. There's something that I teach with I also do life coaching, and there's something I teach with my executives and you know, high performance people alike, and it's really simple. It comes down to you're either living at cause or effect. So at cause basically means you're empowered, you're responsible. At effect means you're living in victimhood. You know, you're bringing up reasons, right? It's always better to be responsible and empowered. Okay, great. I had a bad lap. What can I do about it? Rather than dwelling on it and talking about, oh man, you know, well, he took me out, or someone said this in staging, or my mom or dad said something and it just shifted me out of state. No, so work on being at cause, work on being responsible. That's a tough one, man. I actually have it written down on my desk right here. Check it out. Be at cause. Be responsible. Be empowered. With responsibility, I can take care of everything and anything. All right, going pretty deep there, guys. Let's jump. You know what? I see a bunch of stuff coming in. Jackson, Sienna, Hagen, the Russian Potato. Hey guys, welcome. Thank you so much for showing up. I need to, let's definitely do the Ask Coach G section coming up. We'll do that for 30 minutes. Let's have some fun with that. We'll do that right after the break. Hey guys, I have a question. What would it do for you if you could enhance your power out of the gate, enhance your sprint speed down the first straight, enhance your skills, enhance your mental performance mind state? What would that do for your racing or your kids' racing? If you're seeing the value of enhancing your BMX performance, consider joining the community of BMX Training Pro and get the same access my Olympic athletes have enjoyed, as well as thousands of BMXers all over the world. Some members use the access to improve their gate start techniques. Some also use the access to keep them motivated to train, and you'll find your reason when you gain access and join BMX Training Pro today.
Stay focused, get ready now. For real, get ready now.
Nitro with the nice flow.
Stay focused, get ready now. For real, get ready now. Let's go. Stay focused, here the heat come. Concentrate to the sound of the beat drum. Yeah. Start it up, take it back now. Check it out. This is how it's going down. Yeah.
All right, guys, that gave me enough time to go to the restroom. Whew, I needed that. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for showing up. We're in the Ask Coach G section, and this is a good section, right? I love it. So let's look at some of the comments here. I didn't really get a chance to see them all. Magic Maple, maybe he's having a conversation with somebody here. Jackson Langley, I just won my first race. Used your tips to win. Awesome, Jackson. I would love to hear and share with our community what tips specifically did you use to win, man. Congratulations. I remember when I won my first race. I was lucky, man. I actually won my very first race. But it was very eventful. I remember I didn't even qualify till the third round. I was just making mistakes left and right, and then it was good feedback. There was no failure, right? I was just like, I was having so much fun that I didn't even think about like, oh my gosh, I'm failing, like I'm really bad at this. It was like, I remember I crashed in the second to last turn and I got a flat tire. It was crazy. I got a flat tire and I was running like a 2.125 front tire as an 8-year-old. I had a pro size bike as an 8-year-old. It was huge on me, man. It looked like a chopper. And someone helped me out with the front tire. My mom brought me to the race, and we found someone to help me out with fixing the flat. Went out there to the next moto, qualified, went to the main event, and found myself out front. And I just stayed out front. I didn't really think about it. You know, sometimes as a young kid, it's just, you don't know, you're just doing it. But I remember, man, I remember the first time I won my my first national race. I was 10 years old, and I was in Michigan, and I do recall my father just being really joyous. So cool. I understand, man. That's great. Let's see here. Speaking of Jackson, he says, do you think a 13-year-old novice that's getting faster every day should have wider tires? You know, that's a tough one. Wider tires. So I would presuppose they're on narrower tires, like 1 1/8, 1 3/8, and you're trying to get them on standard tires such as a 1.5. Listen, when you put on the wider tires, it's gonna be heavier, and there's gonna be more resistance, more rolling resistance as well, and you're gonna be lower center of gravity as well, because if you're on 1 3/8, if I recall, they're more like 21 inches in circumference, something like that. Someone can help me out. It's been a while, but then again, the 20 inches is more like 19.5. It's really weird. They're not really a true 20 inch, are they? The thing is with smaller diameter tires is that the bike is twitchier. It doesn't carry as much top end speed. Technically, it's a little bit more challenging. Think of like a 20 inch versus a cruiser. A cruiser is way easier to ride. It carries a lot of momentum. It's a lot easier to jump. It's a lot easier to manual. It's smoother, right? It's more forgiving. So you have to keep that in mind when you go from an 1 3/8 tire to a standard circumference. That's how I think. I think about circumference, right? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just depends. If they have the strength, right? Because it's going to be more resistance. I don't know. You have to reach that threshold where it's like, all right, dude, you're too heavy for these tires. We're starting to overinflate them and they're going to pop, right? they're starting to slide out, right? That's always a good indicator. So you need to push those skinnier tires as much as you can, right? Because when you create that change, when you make that change, there's a lot of different things that are going on in an effort to adapt. I recall the time. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to go from 12 years old to 13 years old. It's the toughest, man. It's one of the toughest age groups for me to coach. I remember it was tough for me. I remember being 12 years old, and there was another guy that was 12 years old, and I swear, I think he had like probably a foot on me as far as height, and he was just a big guy. He looked more like a 15-year-old at 12. A guy named Shelby James. And he was riding standard professional parts, like standard parts, right? 3-piece chromoly cranks. I was on 3-piece aluminum. He was on 2.125 and 1.75 tires in the rear. I was on engine 3/8. I had a uni seat. He had a standard seat with a seat post. The dude was a monster, man. And so that's a really, really tough age. And you start messing with equipment, it's just more stuff that they have to navigate. And I tell you what, I think I almost quit around that 12 to 13-year-old age range just because I was going through that growth spurt. And I'm so glad that I stuck with the sport then. But it was not easy, and it's not easy for like 80% of us that go through that change, because we're going through puberty, right? And once we reach that, and then we're starting to, release more testosterone, and we're able to go to the gym and start manipulating our strength through external resistance strength exercises. Tough age, but yeah, that's a tough one, Jackson. Again, I say push the limits with the current setup now. He will know when it's time to change and go from a skinnier tire to a wider tire. Thank you so much for the question. That's a great one. Let's see here. Let me go to the top and see if there's anything. Russian Potato, Dylan, Magic Maple, everyone's saying hello. Let's see here. Sienna Stone, I need help with clearing doubles and tabletops. Cool. What is it specifically that you need help with? Are you not catching enough air? Do you not have enough speed? Are you not getting enough lift off? Do you not have the confidence to get the bike in the air? Do you know what you're looking at as far as a target? Let me know what's going on, Sienna. I'm happy to help. Craig Martin, welcome to the show, man. Craig says, I'm about to move to intermediate as a 40-year-old novice. Is there anything I should change? Should I consider clipless? I think when it comes to equipment, I think you should definitely consider everything and anything that's within the legal range, right? Like next year, 12 and under, it's going to be flats, right? For the most part. And so, being in the intermediate, novice, intermediate, clipless, I don't know. I mean, is speed the limiting factor? Because at the end of the day, I'm not even quite sure how much you're going to improve on as it pertains to acceleration or speed. So that being said, I would continuously ride the flat pedals, Craig, and I would also work on your skills. Keep working on the skills, and as far as speed, you can also work on that through off the track sprint training, right? So working on your acceleration. You could do box sprints, working on your acceleration for gates. And then you could do top end leg speed work just by simply doing some kind of jump sprint or some kind of downhill sprint where you're working on top end leg speed. Do those two things, keep working on your skills, and then more importantly, I would keep working on your power endurance, right? If you could work on those things and improve, 5% in each one, okay, then you're talking about a 20% gain. All right. If you were to get on clips, I'm not sure if you're going to get 20%. Does that make sense? It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. There's so many different areas as an intermediate for you to work on, and we'll see huge gains through skill work, speed work, and power endurance work. Clipless pedals is not going to give you those three things. It's just not. Now, I'll tell you this. You will know when it's time to clip in. Now, if you want to try it, okay, try it. Okay, I'm not going to tell you not try it. But I don't think it's necessary. I think it's important for you to create more objectives. Create a goal. We talked about it in the beginning of the video. What is it that you want to achieve when you reach intermediate? Do you want to turn expert? What's the limiting factor? What resources do you have and what resources do you need? Is clipless pedals one of them? I'm not sure. I don't know if you're going to improve by that much. I hope that's helpful. And that's always a sticky and tough subject, is it not? All right. Thank you so much, Craig. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Let's see. Jackson Langley. To breathe in staging and to be confident in cornering. Okay. Maybe that was a comment that he made during the mental performance mind state talk that we did prior to the Ask Coach G section. Roscoe H. Hi, Coach G. Your tips have helped. Sorry, the mouse was in the way. I couldn't even read it properly. Roscoe H says, hi, Coach G. Your tips have helped me out a lot. I've been wanting to learn how to manual multiple rollers at once. Can manual one roller or double quite easily, but when it comes to getting over a second roller, I can't seem to keep the front of the bike up. Any advice? Yeah, I would ask, number one, where are you looking? Are you looking at the proper target? Are you looking past the third roller? Because if you're not, wherever you're looking at, when you're in a manual, that's where the front end's going to go. Unconsciously, it just works out that way. And so you kind of have to have faith and look for the top roller, look past it. I think the tendency is that when we first begin learning how to manual, we simply roll a double, right? So it's just one manual. And the problem is that when we get into the manual, we program ourselves to shift our body weight back forward and drop the front end down and finish it off. And so you have to kind of rewrite the program to that, right? Because unconsciously you've programmed yourself to do that. The front end keeps dropping. So what you want to do is develop that faith of, once you get the manual going and your goal is to keep the front end up as long as you can, right? So you have to get used to keeping the front end up in a manual going over the second roller. We'll call it the first roller, really, because it's a double. You're really manualing onto one roller. You're manualing off one roller onto the next one. That's the second one. We'll call, okay, so it's the second one and then the third one. So the key is to get used to keeping the manual going on the second roller. You have to develop that kinesthetic feeling. And it's tough if you haven't been practicing that. So you just simply have to practice that and have faith, find an easier jump, go slow, and just get used to keeping the front end up, because it is different, right? It is different. And it's a lot of pushing through the feet, right? I find myself pushing through my feet on the back side of the roller to keep the front end up. So after the second roller, so you manual off the first roller, you're pushing through your feet so you keep your front end up. When you get up to the next roller, you got to keep pushing your feet down into the backside of the transition of that second roller, and that will help you keep the front end up. Of course, have your eyes on the target. Oh man, I got to sneeze. Please forgive me. Luckily, I'm at home. I don't need a mask to sneeze. It's illegal to sneeze and cough anymore, is it not? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. All right, we're doing really well on time. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Let's see, what other questions do we have? We have one coming in from a guy named Ethan Hagen. Is it better to sprint with clips or without? Great question. For what purpose? For what purpose are you sprinting in the first place? Because if you're sprinting with the purpose of improving power specifically and you race with clips, then why not? Sprint with clips. Now, if you're looking to sprint with the purpose of increasing some strength, sprint without the clips. Certainly, it's going to require a little bit more strength because there's more muscles that need to be involved in an effort for the foot to stay on the pedal. Now, you can also, You can also sprint in an effort to clean up any dirtiness in your pedal, right? I don't know if that's even the proper word to say, but any inefficiencies with your pedal stroke, certainly you can clean it up by simply sprinting with flat pedals, right? Like you could do a downhill sprint with flat pedals and work on, excuse me, I'm a little bit stuffy now after sneezing. You could do downhill sprints with flat pedals, and it's going to force you to keep the foot on, and that will enable you to kind of clean up the pedal stroke, if you will. I've done that for myself, in fact. I love flat pedals to increase the force demand of power, right? Power is force times velocity. And so I love using flat pedals. I'll use it with a bigger gear. Sometimes I'll use flat pedals on sprints and go slightly uphill. And I'll go short, and it's a great way for me to really work on the triple extension of the ankle, knee, and hip joint, and more importantly, the muscles. All right. Aaron Greenreich, hey Coach G, hey man, how you doing? Cool, man. Chris Diffenbach, I made my main all weekend at Gold Cup Finals. That's fantastic. Thanks for doing what you do. You're welcome. I love what I do. And certainly I hope you guys love what you do. Craig Martin says, can't race clipless as a novice. Yeah, and, you know, I'm not going to be too hard on you, but I should be a little bit hard on you. You shouldn't, right? Like at the end of the day, novice, intermediate, you guys are still going through the learning phases of now knowing that you don't know a whole lot. So I think if you're to put on clipless pedals, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you develop in terms of. It's going to inhibit your ability to be aggressive. At the end of the day, that's what clipless does. You know, when it comes to skills, because you have this thing that's going to protect you and saying, "Hey, you're clipped in. Don't try so hard because you're clipped in. If you fall, you're clipped in." So the tendency is when you're clipped. Excuse me. The tendency is when you're clipped in and you're trying to learn a skill, right? And you're just freshly clipped in, you're not going to try hard because you're clipped in. So really at the end of the day, that's the main reason why newer riders should not clip in when it comes to developing their skills, straight up. I know people talk about doing a proper bunny hop. That's great. But at the end of the day, we're not really bunny hopping on the track unless you're an advanced rider, bunny hopping over a roller, going into, you know, on the first straight or whatever, coming out of a turn at the third straight in South Park, there's a roller there, and it's better to bunny hop it. And yeah, so at the end of the day, develop your skills on the flat pedals. You are used to flat pedals, so why change now? Jackson Langley says, do you have any ideas of how to practice at home? Practice what? Is it bike skills? Is it strength training? Is it sprint training? Is it, give me more context, Jackson, please. Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, when it comes to practicing at home, some of the things I like to do when I practice at home straight up is sprints, because when you're at the track doing gates and you're doing gates to work on your acceleration and whatnot, you know, in an effort to get like 10 starts, it takes me like over an hour. With sprint training, you know, all I have to do is set up some cones and just go 75 feet, rest 2 minutes, turn around and do it again. I could be done. I could do 10 sprints in like 25 minutes. You know, there's a little bit of rest, right? There's a little bit of resetting, right? So that's what I like about training at home. Yeah. Any more questions coming in? Bike skills, Jackson Langley says. I have a lot of my athletes work on their turning skills, doing figure eight cornering. Figure eight cornering is an awesome opportunity to work on your cornering away from the track, because you can get a lot more repetition, right? When you're at the track, a typical track has 3 turns, and in an effort to practice your cornering on all 3 turns, listen, it's going to take 45 seconds just to do 3 turns. It's going to take a lot of energy. If you were to set up 2 cones and do figure 8 turns on flat ground at home in 45 seconds, you could probably get close to like 12 repetitions. You could triple your repetitions of working on your turns at home. So yeah, that's the thing about, you know, training at home. There's so many things that you could do. If you can get a practice gate, at home, you can go really deep into practice of your technique, and you don't have to be distracted of pedaling all the way to the first corner. And then of course, you know, when you get to the first corner, it's like, okay, well, you have to coast all the way around the track, get off your bike, walk it up the staging, get back on the gate and do your gate. To do gates at the track, it's like 4 to 5 minutes in between each gate. If you have a gate at home, you could do as many gates as you could, you know, do no rest and get 10 gates in 5 minutes if you wanted. I don't know if that would be effective, but you do need a little bit of rest. All right, guys. Well, hey, any more questions coming in? Let me know what you guys want to learn today. Again, thank you guys so much. I am so grateful for the opportunity. I know it's a Monday night, and we're doing this every Monday night, 5:30 starting time, and usually we begin the video with some kind of theme of, you know, some kind of coaching, some kind of guiding, right? And then, of course, we get into the Ask Coach G segment. This is my favorite segment. Any more questions coming in? A lot of cool feedback, though. I really liking, like, Jackson saying I won my first race using the tips, and this guy says here, what did he say? I lost it. Made my main all weekend at the Gold Cup Finals. Man, we're getting some results within the community of BMX training here, so I'm so happy that you guys are sharing that. And if you guys are experiencing any kind of improvement from these videos, feel free to well, share with the community what you have done. I'm excited. I'm curious of what you guys are doing with any of these tips. Let's see here. What else do we have coming through? Here we go. We got one coming in from the Russian Potato. Thank you so much, Russian Potato, for saving me, man, because I'm starting to run out of things to talk about. And I think we'll take Russian Potato's question and then we'll call it a day. Here we go. Hey, Coach G, upper body strength help with speed? Sure, why not? I mean, certainly you're not going to be pedaling with your arms. However, when we're coming out of the gate, we're using our upper body strength to anchor the Newtonian third law. So for example, when we're cranking down on that right pedal stroke, we're using that left part of the upper body in our core, in our lat, in our forearm, in our grip, in our shoulder, and everything in between to keep it from falling all the way down. So we yank on it, right? We oppose each pedal stroke with our upper body. Upper body strength will also help us with picking up for jumps. It will help us with jumping because we're picking up and we're pushing down. It'll help us with pumping because we're picking up and pushing down. So yes, absolutely, it does help with speed. And I do have my athletes do upper body. However, I don't really go deep into it in terms of like getting really, really strong. I remember there was a time when I was a AA pro and I was able to, you know, knock out reps of 315 pounds doing a bent over row. Was it necessary in hindsight? No, it wasn't. I remember I was able to do 20 pull-ups and a bunch of, you know, like bench press 225 pounds. And I think at the end of the day, when it comes to strengthening the upper body is used for anchoring first, right? It's to anchor our hands to the bars and then whatever muscles that we need to do all our skills. So number one, we have to think about anchoring, right? Because if we're not strong or we don't have the stability, then that could be a limiting factor in terms of how much power you can put into the pedals. So think about General fitness of the upper body, totally cool. And then if you want to work on what we call technically rate of force development is basically accessing as many motor units as possible, as fast as possible, in an effort to perform a movement. We do a lot of that with our lower legs, right? We do a lot of RFD work through sprinting, coming out of the gate, right? You're accessing as many motor units as possible. With strength training, we do that with, excuse me, we're doing that with strength work, such as squats, unilateral squats, single-legged squats, plyometrics, deadlifts, whatever you guys like to do, whatever is your flavor in terms of developing strength in the lower body area. And so rate of force development is the key. Maybe perhaps we'll talk about that, I would say probably around December, right? When we get closer to December and the majority of us are not racing, unless you're down under, unless you're a Kiwi or you're an Aussie, it's going to be their summertime, right? In case you guys didn't know, they're in the southern hemisphere. During Christmas time, it's hot. There is no snow. That's why Santa doesn't even go down there to deliver presents, right? So for the majority of us during the wintertime, we're, for those that like to benefit from strength training, we'll be in the gym. And when we're in the gym, we'll talk a little bit more about base strength, repetition strength, power endurance, increasing maximal strength, increasing rate of force development, increasing speed in the gym. We're going to address all those things in the wintertime. It's going to be fun. I think I'll even do some lives out in my gym here. I have some weights and maybe perhaps we'll do a live out there and just, hey, here are my 3 favorite exercises, and we're just going to go over it right then and there. But for now, I like it in here. It's cool. It's hot outside. Hope you guys are doing well. All right, guys. Well, hey, let's go over a couple more of these comments here. Jake Jensen just got the Gold Cup #1 plate. Thanks, Coach G. If you're thanking me, I presuppose that I'm helping you. Hey, man, you're welcome. Let me know, what is it that you learned? What is it that I gave you? What is it that you're taking from these live feeds? And also, if you guys are watching on the replay, if you guys have any comments in terms of what you guys want me to cover in future episodes, let me know. Yeah. All right, guys, it's 6:29. Last minute, I'm going to wrap up. If you guys enjoyed this show, if you guys are learning anything and you guys would like to learn more, please support me over at bmxtraining.com. Also, check out store.bmxtraining.com. When you go to bmxtraining.com, there's an opportunity for you to check out the membership. There is a 2 free day trial. Check that out. See if it's something that works for you. It works for a lot of guys. It works for people that are looking to improve their speed, their skills, their gate starts, their jumping, their manualing, their mindset. And if you're not interested in doing that stuff and you guys need a straight up a training plan, or you guys want access to me, then click on shop now on bmxtraining.com, and you guys can learn the ways that you guys could access me as your coach. And also there's some courses there that I'm releasing. Again, guys, thank you so much for showing up. I am grateful for the opportunity to be your mentor, your guide, your teacher, your coach here on BMX Training, here on YouTube Live. All right, guys, so have a good one. I'll see you guys next week. If you guys are going out to the track, keep the rubber side down. Focus on what you're trying to achieve, not what you're not trying to achieve. And I'll see you guys at the races.